Hi everybody, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to do an oil change on your lawnmower. I'm doing this procedure on a Briggs & Stratton 550E. This procedure will apply to pretty much every lawnmower that's out there, and especially the kind of lawnmower with this engine. So stick around if you want to see how to do an oil change and lubricate the recoil to make it work better. Alright, so here are pretty much the basics that you need to do an oil change and lubricate the recoil on your lawnmower. You're going to need the engine oil and the two kinds of lubricant for the recoil, or if you just have one of these two, it doesn't really matter. I prefer chain lube because it sticks and it's nice. And a funnel also helps get the oil into the engine. Alright, so the first step to changing the oil on your lawnmower is going to be first of all, finding the amount of oil that your engine takes. To do that, just Google it, or you can go to the small engine shop and they'll tell you. And the second step is you're going to want to warm up the engine, because that will allow all the oil to get nice and hot and thin and run out of the engine much easier than if it was cold. So I'm going to go start the engine and let it run for like a few minutes, and then we're going to drain the oil out. Alright, so now that I've ran the engine for like 5 minutes, I'm going to drain the oil into this container, and then I'm going to pour it into this other jerry can that I have here. I marked it with green tape because this isn't gas, this is like waste oil and stuff that has to go to the dump. Alright, so now I'm going to pour the oil out of the dipstick into this plastic thing, and it's always good to have a rag nearby in case you spill it. And it helps to stand over here so that you can aim it correctly. That dirty oil, man. So keep doing this until all the oil gets out of the engine, and then put the old oil in your waste container. So yeah. Okay, so now I've drained out all the old oil into here. Now I'm going to go Google the right amount of oil for this engine, and then show you guys how to pour it in my little trick that I use. So I just Googled it, and this motor takes 15 ounces of oil, and this is the oil that I'm using. It's just from Canadian Tire. This is regular lawnmower oil. You can use better oil if you want. It doesn't really matter, but get something good. Don't get the cheapest one. This stuff's actually pretty good. So this motor, as I previously said, takes 15 ounces of oil, and this bottle coincidentally has 15 ounces left in it. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this whole thing into here. But if you don't have the right amount in the bottle, what I do is get measuring cups and pour the right amount of oil into the cup, then pour it in the engine a few times, and that works really good. So now I'm going to go ahead and pour the rest of this into the engine, and we should have a full oil level. So just go like this, and you may want to check the oil level a few times as you go along to make sure that you're going to get the right level and not overfill it, because if you overfill the engine with oil, it'll just smoke a lot. Alright, so now that we have the correct amount of oil in the engine, we can go ahead on and lubricate the recoil, and that will conclude our video. Okay, so to lubricate the recoil on one of these Briggs & Stratton engines, you're going to need a 5/16 socket and ratchet, or a nut driver if you have one, that also works. And a magnet tray is also nice to put the bolts in so that you don't lose them. So you're going to want to remove the 3 5/16 bolts that hold down this cover. So I'll do that, guys, and then I'll turn you guys back on. Okay, so once you have all the 5/16 bolts out, you can now lift off your cover. And that exposes the pull start mechanism and what we have to lubricate. So I like to use this chain lubricant, and what I do is I spray it pretty much everywhere in here. And also you're going to want to get the spring as well, because that will lubricate it and make it work way better. So just be liberal with it. Yeah, pretty much go crazy. Yeah, just like this a lot, and then your pull start will work way smoother, and you won't have to pull as hard because the oil will kind of make everything smoother. So just go like this for, I don't know, 5 minutes on the whole thing, and you should be good. Here we go, we're on the last bolt. Okay, and if you guys still have the rag that you use to change the oil, and if the rag has a bit of oil on it, that's good, because then you can go over the whole lawnmower and wipe it off and make it look nice and shiny, so that you can show your neighbors, hey, I know what I'm doing and I have a nice lawnmower. So just go like this a lot until your paint gets nice and shiny. And you can even spray some WD-40 on there to help make the paint nice and shiny. And it's also a rust preventer, so that's nice too. I usually do this a few times a season just to keep the paint looking nice and to help the lawnmower not build up so much rust. So this is what it looks like after I've wiped it all down. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? So I recommend doing this to your lawnmower because it keeps the paint lasting longer and it helps prevent rust. So thank you for watching. Have an awesome day.